everyone. This is your boy, Doug Kenny. Here we are again on Tales from the Rails. I have my coach and mentor, actor and former locomotive driver, Andy McPhee, and today we have Shane Skeen with us. Hey, Shane, how you doing?
Hey, Doug. Hey, Andy. How are you?
G'day, buddy. How you doing, mate? Really good to see you. And as everyone can see, Shane's got his Blu-rays on. I think Shane just shared with us briefly that he's just finished an 11-hour shift. So if you hear any snoring, it's not coming from me. It means Shane just fell asleep.
It could be. We can sleep anywhere.
Yeah, I know, right? That's one thing the railways gave you, man. Like when we're on the shunt engines, the little 500s in the South Australian Railways, I looked at the contortionist ways. When you had a break, you could curl up in that seat and wrap your legs around the independent and automatic brake and go to sleep. Like I used to think, how on earth did I ever do that? And yeah, you're right. You can sleep anywhere, mate. Anywhere.
Yeah, I remember one of my kids was getting born, and while the partner at the time was in labour, I'd actually went to sleep at the end of the bed at the pointy end, and all the doctors and everyone was just sort of walking around me, and. But yeah, that's just a testament of where you can sleep.
Wow. Were you in trouble for falling asleep, mate, at that particular time?
No, thank God.
That's funny. Well, look, just letting everybody know, I personally myself spent, from the age of 17, I was in the railways in Victoria, South Dynon, which is in Melbourne, Victoria, Australia. The locomotives I worked on were the ones behind me, similar to that. And I spent 12 months there at Dynon. Then I moved to Adelaide, South Australia, and ended up joining the railways there and spent probably about 13 years there. And left and did a whole lot of other things. And then eventually the last 30 years, I took up pro wrestling. And then the last 30 years, I've been working as an actor along with my children. And just a little explanation of how I met Shane is when I traveled back from the US to see my family back home in Australia, my young son, Caden, he loves trains and he's got his own YouTube and Instagram train channel. Hard to say when you've got no teeth. And Doug also helps him build that up, which is amazing because Doug's terrific at that. And we used to just go out and film trains and video and blah, blah, blah. Next thing, Shane, I think, saw some of our stuff on social media and he connected up with us. And we've become really good friends. He keeps in contact with the family because Shane lives in, for those people living not in Australia, Shane lives in, I think, New South Wales, right, Shane?
Yeah, back in Newcastle now.
Yeah, Newcastle, New South Wales. And Shane operated a lot of freight trains from up that end of the country down through Victoria. And it got to the stage where Caden and Shane would know when he's coming through and tell Caden. So Caden would be on the platforms knowing when the freight's coming through. And Caden would be filming the freight and Shane would be driving it. And Shane would take a photo of Caden, stand on the platform while Caden's filming the train. It was really funny. And he loves it, man. He absolutely loves it. So, yeah, we just created a really great friendship. And also we'll talk about it a bit later. Shane's into Harleys and bikes, and as I am too. So, it was just awesome how the dots connected. Doug, I'll let you take off with the first few questions because otherwise I start talking about railways. You never stop me.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. So, Shane, what made you decide to join the railway? Was it by accident or was it intentional?
It was more by sort of accident. I was always working on the railway in the workshops, building locomotives as a fitter. That's where I sort of started at a young age, around about maybe 21, 22 years ago. And then I went from sort of being a fitter to a few different sort of workshops in between, and always steered back to the railway workshops, building locomotives, which were the sort of T2 class and National Rail class and a couple of other class locomotives. And, I just seen a job advertised for trainer engineman job. back in around about 2008, 2009. And when that sort of came up, I got speaking with a few of the drivers that were coming through with the workshops, and I applied for it and got the position. And I thought, well, I'll do this for 2 or 3 years and, see how it goes and then get back on the tools after I started to get a little bit bored with it. And, here we are, a bit over 11, 12 years later. I'm still on the job and, still driving.
Oh, that's cool, man. I never realised that you were, building the locos. Did that help you, like being a driver, that if there was any times where, the locos broke down or something went wrong, you could probably dive in a lot quicker if there was something you could fix externally, not like you're going to get your toolkit out and rebore the loco in the middle of the track and put new pistons in. But did it help you at all in that area?
It did a little bit to a certain extent. Where a lot of us we'd just phone up the help desk, and the help desk guys would sort the issue out, or we'd get rescue engines to get onto us and go back to the depot that way. But at least it sort of helped me when I'd speak to the guys that I already knew from the workshops, and they'd say, "Oh, look, you got to go and do this and this. It's on here." And I could go straight to it, where other guys would have to be, on the phone going, "Oh, well, look, where is that part? Where, what do I have to check? Whereabouts is that?" And, they could say, go straight to the sort of, the generator, and I'd know exactly where it is, and I'd know the parts of the generator where it was. Obviously, I don't know that now because I've forgotten everything from working night work for 12 years, but
yeah, I know, right? You forget everything, mate. It's a different world. But that's really interesting because when I started in the Victorian railways, very hands-off. Like it was back then, it was just something went wrong, help. The South Australian railways back in the time, and if I'm remembering correctly, we were a little bit more hands-on. They gave us a lot more instruction on, circuit breakers and troubleshooting, and like you could actually fix out a lot of the problems yourself. Now, obviously, there's bigger problems you couldn't, but it was a little bit more hands-on. But I think nowadays it's probably more like you say, you just call up and get help from the help desk or however it operates now.
Yeah, a lot of the locos are a lot different to what I learned on as well. So I was learning on old 48 classes and 80 classes, 81s and 82s and stuff like that. And the old locos that you got behind you, the old S classes and
the S's.
That's what I was sort of working on for a long time, and we were getting them sort of patched up. And the 48 classes were a staple still in the on the coal roads and the wheat. They were sort of long end lead loco, but
were the 48 classes, is that like the South Australian 930 class, the Alcos?
Yeah, it is an Alco, yeah.
Yeah, they were pretty good engine. They were tough.
Yeah, they're pretty talky things, not much horsepower, but pretty talky.
Yeah.
So by the time I joined the railway, we still had a lot of those engines, running around the track, but a lot of them were sort of on the bulk side of it, like doing the copper ore and the wheat and the grain and different grains and stuff like that, which they're still running them now on the grain.
Do they? Oh.
Yeah, you've got companies like SSR and a couple other companies that are still keeping those old sort of workhorses going. You might see a grain train with half a dozen engines up the front. You got four 48 classes, an 81 class, and an S class or something like that.
Yeah. And I guess that's the thing too, is you've got to put more of them on to haul the bigger trains, whereas nowadays you probably only need one of the brand new locos to do the same job, maybe two.
Yeah, that's mainly, you can run 1,500 tons with one loco on a newer loco. So
yeah. My favourite was the S classes. Like when I joined the Vicky, I loved the S's. They were just my favourite engine back in the time. And then when the X's come out, they were at that time they were the most powerful loco they had, and they were fantastic, running them on fast freights and fast passengers. And I don't know if you can see just hang on that side, that one there, that's an L class. They were the electric locomotives. They were pretty powerful, quiet, like couldn't hear a thing, man. Just all electric, run by the pantograph at the top, and you just rip the wheel open and it was just a buzzing sound. That was it, very quiet, powerful loco. But they're all obviously not running now. They're all outdated,